my friends on the dais, enlightened colleagues in the first few rows, and most important, the future generation of India, which is in great numbers here today. Being here today is a great pleasure, personal pleasure to me. Till yesterday, I was thinking I am 70. Today I am thinking I have at least 30 more years to go. So, having said that, I see the future before me. You are the leaders of future, tomorrow, of the future India here, which has a great potential, great history, and great name to become in the economic world of tomorrow. Let me start with simple words. What is global competitiveness? Simply said, that to be globally competitive, we have to provide goods or services which have value better than provided by anybody else in the world in this global context, global market context. Now, we have many drivers to achieve that end. Because the time given to me is very short, I'll just focus on you, the future generation, the leadership that is going to emerge from you all. Let me go back to my home first. I have a grandson who is just about 9 and he studies in MIT in 5th standard. He helps me out today in all my mails, sorting out, helping me out through the internet. Whenever he gets hold of my computer, of course I don't allow him to have the pleasure of having his own, because that's a little dicey. Okay. So this institution, I see what it is doing to the children. What is the great future is before you all. Now, I could go on and on. Let me limit myself to the leadership qualities that I expect from you when you are the economic business community's headers in the times to come. Long time back, to be precise, June 16th, 1969. Most of you were not born. I am not saying about the people here, but you. There's one Mr. Fletcher Byrom who was heading an American corporation, Koppers Corporation, which has in chemical products and other material products, and he was delivering a lecture. He was just 50. He was one of the youngest presidents of that corporation when he was just 42. At 50, when he was quite healthy and had no plans to retire immediately, he called the next line of his managers from all his plants all over the United States and said that I want to share my thoughts with you as a message to the people who are going to head this business network of Koppers in the United States and other countries. The message was very simple. He said, I am no Christ, so I will not give you 10 but 9 commandments only. To begin with, he said, hang loose. What's hang loose? There are enough regulations, enough by government, by others. There are so many strictures around you. You are tied down by so many things. And yet, you have to find yourself to be free from those to do something creative. Please, I've been given only 7-10 minutes, but I'll try to manage in that. So, try to be creative in those areas where you can find the possibilities of doing something creative. Number 2, have maximum interfaces. If you had to create a competitive India tomorrow, you have to be real good leaders. A leader has to be, managing totality. Of course, I have nothing against specialists, but please stay away from only specialists like you stay away from plague. Those who do not have an overall view can do a great damage. They live into a narrow perspective, and that's not what is expected from a business manager of tomorrow, which will lead this country to great heights. So, You should have also the thought to have greatest number of interfaces. Have friends, talk to them, find the, you're going through the lift, talk to the liftman. I'll cite you an example. Some of the things which are thought to be very, not done in United States I'm referring to. Mobile homes. Everybody thought that this idea is crazy. I'm talking of 50 years back when it was not there. This top executive was talking to the liftman. He said, "Sir, I can't afford the hotels. I can't, but I have to go on holiday and I have been married just recently. I want to impress my wife and I want to take her out. So I've been planning a small trailer on which I'll build a small house." Now this small idea which he got from the liftman created revolution in the United States. There are so many builders today who make mobile homes which are just put as a trailer behind the car. So this small interaction with others can give you ideas. You can be brilliant, but there are other brilliant people around who can give you greater ideas which are practical, which are business-wise prudent. Now, the next thing is, you see the change that's occurring today. The change is so fast. I could not have imagined what is happening in the information technology, what results it has created in the rest of the business community. So, be aware of those changes. You have friends like internet, you have friends like professors, you have friends like books. Don't avoid books. Books can be your greatest information provider even today. Those areas which we are not working on sometimes can be very helpful if you have a greater knowledge, little more knowledge than perhaps the most of the others, and it can be of great help. Next point he said was, people for growth and growth of people. They are both interrelated. If you want to grow, you have to have good people. And then if you want to, the two are totally interconnected. So your task will be how to have good people with you. How do you make them live with you, you can retain them with you. I'm looking at you not as a passing out student. I'm looking at you as an entrepreneur, as a business manager of tomorrow. So I'm just thinking and sharing my thoughts with you in that direction. And most important, which is very dear to me and to my heart, generate enough mistakes. Yes, I said it right. Generate enough mistakes. Every word is important. Now what is it? You see, when you go into unknown areas, what we call today as R&D, I think those areas what will bring you the worth which will make you really competitive in the years to come. You can't live on borrowed technology forever. You can never be the leader if you are always looking at the technology which is taken from this XYZ country or place. You have to be developing your own technology. And it's a myth to think that the technology costs very high. It doesn't. It is true. Most of it is dependent on the manpower. And we have such large, vast number of enlightened manpower in India. That's an asset. If you go by any SWOT analysis, I think that will tell us this is the greatest strength India has, China has. Why not really use this strength? So, when I said generate enough mistakes, you go into unknown areas, knowingly that I'm going to go after this process or this product or this service, how to make it better. How to make these three areas better than others so that I stay competitive in the global context. You will have some hurdles, some mistakes will occur. Those are generated mistakes. If you repeat them, that's a made mistake. Please take this care of not repeating those mistakes, but don't be afraid of getting into new areas. Who hasn't done and who hasn't made any mistakes, he has definitely not come out his best in his life. I can certainly say this. The other very important thing is, there's so many things possible. Merely possible is not good enough. An area to attack. then area to attack would be which is probable, which is likely to happen. Pursue that route rather than what is just merely possible. Because merely possible will bring you results much later, maybe much bigger dividends. But what is probable, what is likely to happen in the near future, if you take that road, it will bring you better rewards in the near future itself. Now, one thing, I'm a data man, I use computers very extensively, and I always propagate that is very important. But don't forget the fundamentals, the basics. What are those fundamentals? Sometimes a time comes when we have to take a decision. What is right, whether I should take this road, whether I should not take this road. There are experts telling you do this, do this, do this. But there is something like intuition. Keep your intuition very well lubricated. Don't think it is something which is useless. 9 out of 10 occasions when I used my intuition, I ended up into the right direction. And it brought me great dividends in my small business. I started with just 5,000 rupees of Provident Fund money which I had when I was working, and they left the research institute in Bangalore. But that really helped me. But your focus should be clear what you want to do. Keep the direction in the area of your own strength, where you feel you are confident, where you can achieve more things in a better way, where you can achieve results faster. But finally, don't think intuition is useless. Because what is intuition after all? Intuition is a lot of jumbled up data in your head, stored over years. You are not able to just streamline it the way you put on the computer and just streamlines it quickly. But what I am thinking, something is right if I go into that direction, and perhaps that's the direction you could take. So I'm not saying always depend on it, but you can rely on your intuition. It works. Believe me, it works. And last of all, don't lose your freedom ever to do what you ought and want. Please try to be an entrepreneur yourself. I became an entrepreneur because I found myself chained in government. I found chained in the private sector where I worked for a while. But that in my own small way, I could use my own ideas and use that freedom. Please have your freedom, and wish you all the best. Good luck. You are the future. I wish you all the best in future.